Tonight for dinner, we are having barbecue pulled pork tacos. These were so fast and easy to put together. I just used some pulled pork from my freezer, but if you're making it from scratch, it's still super easy to make. You can also use some of the pre-made barbecue pork from the grocery store, barbecue chicken, whatever you got. These are absolutely delicious. These are so easy, they come together so quickly, and I think they would go great with a little bit of sour cream or a little bit more cheese. Anything you would put on pulled pork, I think you can put on here and it'll be fantastic. The very first thing I'm going to be doing is actually just heating up my leftover pulled pork. I pulled this out of the freezer this morning and I let it thaw in the fridge, and I'm just going to throw it in this bowl and throw it in the microwave for a few minutes until it is warmed all the way through. Now, if you are making your pulled pork from scratch today, it's actually super easy. I posted a video on this a couple of weeks ago. I'll have that linked somewhere here on the screen. This pulled pork is so easy. You just start by seasoning and searing it in a large pot or a Dutch oven or something. I've got all of the seasonings I used in the video that's linked on the screen here. That's already posted on my channel. You don't have to use such a giant piece of pork like I did, but you should use a pretty fatty piece of meat. All of that fat renders down throughout the slow cooking process, and that's what gives it so much amazing flavor. You'll just slow cook it for a few hours until it gets super tender and it starts to fall apart, and then you just shred it and add your favorite barbecue sauce. It is so easy. It takes just a few hours. You can do it on the stove. You can do it in the slow cooker. You can put it in the oven if you're using something like a Dutch oven or if you've got a large enough baking dish. We had this pulled pork when I made it fresh. We had it on baked potatoes, but we've had it a few times since then. This is the last of it in the freezer, and I just thought some cheesy quesadillas might be the way to go for this. All right, we're gonna do one corn tortilla. I'm just gonna add in a little bit of oil, and I'm just gonna let this start to fry until it's lightly brown on one side, and then we are going to fry the other side and assemble this taco straight in the pan. Assembling our tacos is super easy. We're gonna start by putting down some shredded cheese on half of it, and then just layering our meat on top of that. And if you wanted to put any other toppings, now is a great time for that. I think red onions would go really nicely in this. I think avocado would go nicely, but avocado might be better as a cold topping after the tortilla is cooked. So we've got our meat, and then we're just gonna layer some more shredded cheese on top of this. And then just fold it up. And as this cooks in the pan, the cheese will melt, kind of gluing everything together. And then you've got your own little tacos. The shredded cheese I like is this Kraft Mexican blend. You can do whatever your favorite cheese is. I think mozzarella cheese would go really great on these. Cheddar cheese would probably be great. Anything you would put on pulled pork, barbecue pork, would go, of course, absolutely great here. All right, and just like that, our tacos are done. I've got one corn tortilla in the pan right now. I'm actually gonna make myself one flour tortilla, and that corn tortilla is for me. And we are gonna get to frying the rest of these up. All right, my corn tortilla is getting a little bit brown on the other side. I find it really important to hydrate corn tortillas, so I just splashed a tiny bit of water on it. And I'm also gonna spread a tiny little bit of barbecue sauce on this side. I think that'll add some really nice flavor on the outside of this taco. And then I'm just gonna give this a flip, and we're gonna assemble it the same way we did the flour tortillas. I'm gonna add cheese. The only difference is I'm gonna put cheese on the whole thing so that can start to melt. And then I'm gonna put my shredded meat on half of it. And corn tortillas are a lot smaller, so this is gonna take a lot less meat, but they tend to get crispier, so I kind of like that. And then we're just gonna fold it in half and let it cook and get crispy. While that's going, we're gonna start adding in our flour tortillas. I'm gonna put a little bit more oil. And then these are just gonna go straight onto the pan. That cheese is gonna melt and the tortilla is gonna brown, and you'll kind of have your own little quesadilla taco type things. We're gonna let those cook for probably about 2 minutes per side, and then everything's done. This comes together so quickly. That took about 10 minutes total of frying, and everything is done. These tacos smell so good and they are super crispy. I did end up brushing a little bit of barbecue sauce on the flour tortillas as well. I just thought it would add a really nice little touch to them. Let me see if they're too hot to try. Cheers. That is so good, and for so little effort, this is definitely something worth trying. I think you could probably even use the pre-made pulled porks that you get from the grocery store for this, and they would be great. This was so easy, and this really took, I don't know, 15 minutes, maybe 20 at the most, but this was absolutely worth it. And that barbecue sauce flavor just comes through so well on these. These are so good. I have to try the corn tortilla one. See if it's a little crispier. Ooh, that's hot. It's too hot to touch. Okay, this one's really hot. Cheers. The corn tortilla is a tiny bit tougher than the flour tortilla. It might soften up as it cools down. That was really hot. But they're both really good. The flavor comes through just fine. So if you're just looking for some fewer calories, the corn tortilla may be the way to go. I started using corn tortillas when I was starting to lose weight, and because I really wanted to do a little bit more volume eating, and flour tortillas were just so calorie dense that it was making it hard to eat the amount of food that I wanted and lose the weight. So corn tortillas are a great option. There's not that much of a difference. The flour tortillas, they're just softer, but flavor-wise, they're super similar. I think you guys should definitely give this a shot. This is absolutely worth the quick and easy meal.